Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome
and,
back.
Of course, I missed Easter Sunday last week, and I was en route home and arrived on April 1st.
Yeah.
And making it up this particular week, you're reaching me out in Duck Bay, Manitoba.
Oh, yes. Welcome back.
Proud Métis village of ours, and one I grew up on, and my entire family, and still my sister lives out here, and most of us have left out for work now, so... but we still all come home. It's always going to be our home in our community. So, and say hello to all the residents of Duck Bay, both Métis, First Nation, and non-Indigenous that live here now.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller community used to be a booming town at one time, and this town was made up of fishing and harvesting, trapping, forestry. You know, this was a working town. Everybody worked. You didn't work, you're a lazy man. That's all I can say about that. So you're just too lazy to work. Okay, now I criticize a few people. I won't say their names.
Okay.
We
They know
who
who they
They're
are?
too lazy to work. Anyways, but no, seriously, this is always a strong economic town. But let me say hello to some people. Then we'll go into some business. I'm heading to Ottawa and return home tomorrow, and I head down to Ottawa on Monday. I'm there for a week. I'm meeting with Minister Iju, and I got probably Minister meeting with, I have a hard time saying the last name, Minister of Gary.
And the Sangari, I think I got it now. And Ananda Sangari.
That's the one, Ananda Sangari. He's a nice guy. So I should probably be meeting him. I'm meeting some senators and moving again on our treaty and getting it hopefully followed through in Parliament. Then it'll go to INAN, it'll go to Senate, it'll go back to Parliament, and it'll become law in Canada. So looking forward to that. It's 153 years in the waiting, 154 now. Years in the waiting since I promised that the treaty was given to us and never truly fulfilled, only portions of it. Then even that was robbed from us, our land claim and our rights, etc., until later on in 82 the Métis were back onto the Constitution, but they never followed through with dealing with the treaty that was promised us in 1870. So now I've got some birthdays I want to move out of the way. Happy 8th birthday is going to Kaylee Mayer. Of course, you know, Judy Mayer, the grandma. There's babies everywhere there, steady. I don't know if she's planning to still run in elections 10 years or 20 years from now, but she's creating an armed force of people out there. Birthdays and birthdays and birthdays. Again, there's another one. Happy 3rd birthday going to Araya Mayor again, Minister Joyce Mayer's other great-granddaughter, celebrating her birthday on Tuesday, April 9th. I always tease her about that because there's baby galore, I tell you, coming in the Thompson's paw. And so I always tease her about how many grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and on and on and on. So happy 62nd birthday to Terry Lynch, Minister Sean Nault's sister, who's celebrating her birthday on Sunday, April 7th. Happy 49th birthday is going out to Rochelle Nault, Elton Wellness Department, who's celebrating her birthday on Friday, April 12th. And also I want to say congratulations going out, happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Solomon and Carol Pronto, and of course Minister Mark Pronto's parents. I just seen Solomon in Thompson. I was out there. He's actually going to get me some muskrats this spring, and he said he's going to bring me some fresh fish from way up north. Also, Thomas Jr.'s wife, Christia Livingston. They had a safe arrival of their new baby boy. Has 2 children now on April 4th. So happy being a parent day for Thomas and Jr. and Christia Livingston. I want to also say happy birthday is going out to Curtis. I'm actually going to church at 1 o'clock today. There's a confirmation happening. There's 14 kids that are being confirmed. The Archbishop is actually coming in, Archbishop Richard Gagnon. And there's, of course, Father Napoleon will be there, and other priests, I believe, might be coming in. And the town is getting all ready. There's going to be a dinner to serve following the confirmation ceremony at the church, and then everybody will go to the hall, have a dinner, and celebrate as the kids get ready to be blessed and being prepared. So that anything ever happens to them, that they've prepared themselves to get ready to leave this world to the next. So, again, also happy birthday going to Doug Furlan from his sister Bernice. I asked Bernice, how old's your brother? I don't know. He's just younger than me. I said, well, he's pretty old. So, Doug, happy birthday. He lives in Heaven Flow, and we have a regular caller that calls in from Heaven Flow. She used to run the radio station there. I forgot her name. She didn't get mad at me. She calls into our show quite a bit. So hello to you too. You can't remember her name?
I'm
Cowboy?
trying to think. Cowboy left the room for a moment.
Oh, okay. And then of course the Sabachis. This is coming from Sugar and Lisa. Happy birthday, Jean Lajamatier. I didn't even know his name is Jean. I only know him as Savachis, that's his nickname. And then we have a special thing, hello, going out to grandparents out in South India. I'm going to pass her the phone. She wants to say hello to her papa and her grandma, and I'm going to turn over the phone. Her name is Caitlin. Caitlin. I have a hard time saying her name. Caitlin. So I'm going to give her the phone for a few seconds to say hi to her grandparents.
Okay.
Hi, Delia and Edward Sultry in South Indian Lake.
She heard clear. She was holding the phone away from her.
No, we heard her. Yeah.
Oh, you heard it. Good. And actually, the daughter was telling me they're called a different name, Sulter, before, and then when they came out of residential school, they turned it to Saltier.
Oh, okay.
They were called Souliers.
Souliers.
And then they changed the name to Saltiers.
Okay.
The church did that. So, anyways, I think that's all the birthdays and greetings that I had to do. That's out of my way. So it's always important to make sure we reference those. But updates on meetings. Of course, I have a meeting coming up with Minister. Another meeting coming up with Minister James Moses. We had a very good discussion. In case our listeners are listening, in the Fisher Angler Guide and also the Harvesting Guide that's been produced by the province, it makes very clear that the citizenship card is used as one example that will be recognized, and the harvester card, but it's not the citizenship card. It's only the harvester card. It was a mistake in their printing or when they wrote it down. They should have asked to pass it through us, to look through it as a government, and then we would have corrected all these mistakes. There's a few other mistakes in there. It talks about no limits. There is limits in Métis harvesting. That's our elders put together. Mm-hmm. There's limits for fishing. There's limits for hunting. So all of those need to be corrected in that document. So we had a good discussion, the Minister and I. We're going to be working on correcting that document as we move forward. For example, we're only entitled to one net. You could put, I know First Nations can use 20, 30, 40. So can we. We can put our rights are no lesser than First Nations. But our laws, based on our elders, that established after thousands and thousands of people participated on the process, writing the laws and the practices of our history, it was very clear only one net would be allowed and 50 pounds of fish would only be accessible to a family. So this is to ensure that the conservation and preparation and protection of the future for the next generations to come, and also to make sure the commercial fishermen are not totally affected if there's too many people setting up nets and taking away their economic engine from them. So that meeting went very well, and there's more that has to be corrected. So you see the angler guides, you have some confusion, phone our offices, and we'll correct it for you. But I told the minister we need to get on this very, very quickly. I don't want people misunderstanding and conservation officers also misrepresenting when they come across our harvesters in the field. So this way, at least it's starting to finally be clear. There was no policy in the past, and so individual conservation officers made up their own rules. For example, there was another person charged, I think, a few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I believe, on ice fishing, mm-hmm. and saying he didn't have a provincial license. And we know, in several other cases just got dropped. I got a brief on Thursday, I believe. I got a brief. Some other cases got dropped in the north already. But it just shows you again that the conservation officers, they need to have a written policy, and that policy that's out there right now has also got mistakes, and we need to correct that. But I'm giving kudos to at least putting in place what should have been written a long time ago. The harvester cards are the recognition of our Métis Red River harvesters in our homeland. So with that being said, thank you again, James, if you're listening, Moses, Minister, and I look forward to our next meeting, which will be happening very, very soon. Also, Premier Kenyu's first budget came down, mm-hmm. and there's not too much right now, of course, for many people, and they're trying to spread out as much as they can, and main focus is on health, which benefits all of us in Manitoba. So I give kudos to Premier and his first budget. I don't know if people pay close attention enough to his speaking ability. He's got an excellent orator. He's a very good speaker. I watched yesterday again, the other day, or 2 days ago, I watched his apology to the two children are given away misgiven away at birth. Our Métis child was given to Ed. It was given to a Ukrainian family, and the Ukrainian child was given to a Métis family. And now they're in their 69, I think, years old now, and that's already fixed. And but 69 years later, so I watched Wab in the ledge, and as he gave his apology on behalf of all Manitobans and on behalf of himself as the Premier. He's definitely a very well-spoken man, very well-skilled in his speaking ability. I see he only glances at the pages, and he really speaks from the heart. So kudos to you, Premier. You really touched our citizen. And our past citizen was actually Ukrainian, but was raised as a Métis family. So because they were given away separately at birth to the wrong parents.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, and I understand they're going to be settling with them, some financial settlements. But I think the main theme for these two individuals, they're going to try to catch up to their lives. They only got a few years left, 69 years old, I think, or 7 years old now. And so it's like me, 64. I don't know how much time I have left. But you got to try to celebrate and encapsulate as much as you can of what really means so much to you. And, of course, to them, it's their biological family, their utter family, and also, of course, understanding their culture and grasping and wrapping their arms around it. So, again, Premier, kudos to you in your first budget. As I said, we did not push hard to say the Red River Métis must be included in the budget. We must be getting this and that. The Premier knows we have some massive struggles when it comes to health, and we need to do something regarding mental health, just chronic illnesses that are existing and affecting so many of my people. Our crisis, because we have no clinics, we have no nursing stations, we have nothing in our villages across Manitoba. So it's very clear now. The Premier is fully aware of that. And my discussions with Minister Aiju on Wednesday in Ottawa, that's top and center of our agenda. So I'm making it very clear that Canada either comes on board. We actually are filing potentially a court case against Canada right now. Our lawyers are working on it regarding health. We believe since 2016, after the Daniels decision, which people will say, what's that? Well, it's a case that went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada, which challenged the federal government that they had a responsibility, a legal responsibility. We have been dealing with the Métis as they have dealt with First Nation and Inuit, and they did not. And so the Supreme Court ruled that Canada was wrong, and they were acting illegally and not abiding with the law and the Constitution of Canada, and that they should have been dealing with the Métis as they would deal with anybody, all other Indigenous people, meaning First Nation Inuit. So that is on our agenda on Wednesday, and I'll be pushing that agenda very hard. And Minister, of course, Chartrand has got a full-scale plan on health right now in early learning childcare. But from that perspective, I hope that we can convince the federal government to start doing what's right, or not be forcing us to go to the courts to make them do what's right. So let's see where that takes us, and I'll give you guys a report when I get back. But I'm in Ottawa all week next week, Monday to returning on Friday. As I said, I have meetings with other ministers and also potentially the Minister of Housing. I had a good chance to meet with him. As you all probably know, the Premier was in town.
Yeah.
I was invited to the announcement of, course, housing were well respected in Canada and by the federal government, and also just by municipalities, our provincial government, the amount of houses we're building with what little money we have. Our first-time home buyer program, Naomi, good news. We've passed 1,000 families now bought their houses.
Congratulations.
Remember we were at 900 and something on a show here a few months ago?
Yeah.
Well, we're past 1,000 now.
That's amazing.
It's so spectacular. So 1,000 Métis families bought their houses already, and I just can't say how proud of these families out there listening. It just shows, again, our people always trying to do what's best for their family and their kids, the future, and all they need is sometimes just that little head start that they've been denied so long. Yet I said they always find us to pay taxes, but they don't come when it's programs and services. We have a hard time finding them to do the right thing. So that's a good example of just a few dollars. Like I think in total we spent probably $12 million, but out of that, 1,000 families bought their houses. Think about that. The mortgages are probably close to $300 million
right.
That they have overall. So the banks are making money, and outside the industry is making money. I'm talking about stores, and people forget that when you buy a house, either you're going to start painting, you're going to change the cupboards, or you're going to change something, the bathroom, or you're going to fix the yard, fix the fence, you're going to buy lawnmowers, a barbecue, things of that nature. So there's a really financial opportunity for so many businesses that are getting the benefit of our people buying houses. And there's still over 200 people looking for their houses right now, and that we'll be also supporting. So I am so proud of our Minister Goodon and our team, our staff, but more importantly, we're our people, because our people told us to do this many, many, many moons ago. They gave me the instructions of the president to find money to give their family, their kids, a chance to buy a house, and all they need is a head start by putting a down payment, and the rest they can take care of themselves. So it just shows you again the wisdom and the vision of our people and our locals. And at the end of the day, our government fulfilled the dream that became reality. So the Prime Minister was in town. He was in town to announce housing, rental, and they're talking again urban housing. They're talking about non-for-profit, which many of them are out there providing services and housing, where, of course, as the Métis, we don't have an urban issue. They're saying some of the challenges, I know the chiefs are trying to deal with this, some of the challenges they face is how do you deal with housing off reserve? And so that's a challenge that a lot of the First Nation chiefs are trying to find solutions to. And right now there's many nonprofits that are actually managing housing where First Nation and Métis also live in there. And so they're trying to find solutions to that. But we all indicate we don't have reserves, so we live both in urban and rural, and our political structure protects both sides. So I had a good discussion with Fraser. He's going to try to set up a meeting next week while I'm in Ottawa and continue our discussion. Where do we fit into the new $1.5 billion that was announced when the Prime Minister was in town? So it was good. I had a chance to chat with him briefly, and again, I got to see many. Danny was there, of course, Vandel, the Minister for the North, and includes other programs, even housing, that he's involved with, and capital investments. So I had a good chance to talk with Danny. Was there. Plus, you got to give credit to the Premier. He did an excellent speech there. The Minister of Housing, of course, was there on behalf of the province, and it's just such a. It's so proud to see the effects of change and how they interact together, and the as I said, the cleverness of the other Premier presented himself on behalf of all Manitobans to the Prime Minister and to all those who were listening at the event taking place in Transcona. And but again, as I say again, I can't say enough how proud I am of our citizens that keep on buying the houses. We are also still looking for contractors, more contractors. We're repairing, I think, 2,500 houses on our list. We've got over 600 repaired already, 650, I think, repaired to date. These are contracts like 18,000 to 25,000 in the north that are eligible for contractors to apply. And you do a good job, you'll be a constant contractor getting resources from us, financial support. Make sure that you can get these jobs and keep a steady flow with your employees. So we're still looking for more contractors. If you're listening, apply with the Manitoba Federation Housing Department. Get your name as a contractor in there, and make sure they reach out to you and start being. And this is good. This program is good for 6 more years. So I'm very, very proud of that. And we have the budget to make sure that there's houses. By that time, we should have repaired all 2,500 houses, I hope. That's the goal,
right.
Mr. Has, and we'll see if we can get there. Now, another note, as you know, I spoke on the carbon pricing. And it's called carbon tax by the Conservatives, but it's called carbon pricing, which is same in one and the same thing, but they're just all about politics there. Carbon pricing, and of course, there's a family of 4 gets $1,200 a year, and there's these checks are coming out. I think 4 times a year, and they start coming out next week, I think, or this week. And so I think people are knowing full well how important these checks are. So I expressed my position as a Premier. I know he's looking at a zero carbon for us, given that we have hydro. But in the meantime, we still got to follow the federal carbon pricing and rebate program. And the rebate program is very, very important. Manitobans will get the true benefit because we have the lowest income process probably in Manitoba or Canada, but based on our location. And so we definitely have good jobs, good paying jobs, but at the same time, we still have many other challenges that some other rich provinces don't have. So, but these rebates mean a lot to the citizens and people, puts food on the table, pays bills, and puts Pampers and milk in the fridge for the kids. And so these rebates are important. I expressed that to the 8 of 10 houses in every across the province, 8 out of 10 houses. So in the entire province, there's how many houses we have. So you're talking about thousands of people are going to be receiving these rebates and getting out there. So I encourage our people to pay close attention to that. I've echoed loud and clear to the Premier, don't cancel this like the Conservatives did in Ontario and Alberta and Saskatchewan. And of course, they're hurting a lot of the Métis citizens there based on the fact that their rebates might be canceled because the province is trying to fight on this carbon tax, which is the only climate program we have in this country, which is crazy. You know, we need to have a climate action program. So I'll keep on speaking on this issue for some time because I'm very, very concerned about what happens to that. Of course, yesterday I sent my minister Vice President of Winnipeg to go join the Premier and Wab Kinew of Manitoba, and Mr. Vandell and Mayor Scott Gillingham and others who have made an announcement between Chief Jerry Daniels, and which we support strongly, and at the same time Blue Sky, Gordon Blue Sky Chief and Cornel McLean, who are there to announce their partnership on Portage in Maine, building housing units there, an apartment, along with a potential clinic. And that is, again, shows you a progression of Indigenous investments, First Nations investing downtown. And so they're partnered with True North. So that's, of course, Mark Chipman and his team. And so that announcement is kudos to them as the Chiefs, and kudos to Jerry Daniels and his team of looking at a partnership and seeing how they can take Portage Place and make it into something more promising and more of a need that's existing right now in our province. So, again, that was something I show to me. It shows me that we're so advancing as Indigenous governments, and the role we're starting to play a bigger role throughout. On Tuesday, April 9th, 107th anniversary of Battle of Vimy Ridge, of course, the bravery and selflessness of a Canadian soldiers, Métis, that died out there, and many, many more died that fought for our freedom. So if you don't mind, many of you listening today, maybe send a prayer to the families and those that have left this world. As I said, it's a 107th anniversary on April 9th, the Battle of Vimy Ridge. And you probably have relatives you know that died out there. And so send prayers their way to the families that today still remember their great-great-grandparents who were out there fighting for freedom and paid the ultimate price of their lives. Nearly 3,600 Canadian soldiers made the ultimate sacrifice there. And that's 3,600 of them died out there. So, and buried in foreign land today. They're buried overseas. But it just, excuse me, it doesn't hurt to take a few minutes of your time on that day to send out prayers to the family. So, again, one of the things that I want to close off now, I know what my time is, 12:22. I'm trying to read as fast as I can what I have in front of me here. And that sometimes people say I talk too fast. But you guys are too fussy. You only give me so much time. So I got to talk as fast as I can. But again, this treaty is very, very important, and that's why I'll be in Ottawa next week. We also are still progressing ahead with our land claim. But this treaty is moving, as we hope, down the right pathway. As you probably have heard, some of you may have asked or want to ask the question, we understand that Alberta, under self-government agreement, has now lost a court case on that issue. It truly did happen. The Alberta Métis Nation, Alberta, tried to say that they speak on behalf of settlements and all Métis peoples in Alberta. And let's not forget, on this show, over several years ago, we talked about Alberta classifying themselves as a club, and they threw away some Métis people who weren't allowed to vote or run in elections. It was all politically driven, and they argued to the court that they were a club, not a government, that they could decide who belongs to their club, and they were able to throw out some Métis citizens and disallowing them from running. So now it comes back to haunt them. They go to self-government agreement saying we're self-government, we speak on behalf of all Métis people. And the answer by the court is, no, you don't. Settlements speak for themselves, and so do the northern villages of Alberta speak for themselves. And Lethbridge now speaks for themselves. They're not part of the Métis Nation of Alberta. So the court has ruled that Alberta's got to go back to the government, and they got to rewrite that self-government agreement or change it because it's illegal or unconstitutional. And so they're in deep trouble right now. And again, they partner with the Métis Nation of Ontario. And those are even worse case scenario for all of us, because those ones are stealing the identity of our people and bringing in a bunch of new people that are nothing to do with us, no historical connection whatsoever in history. And these people are claiming to be us, claiming our heroes, claiming our culture, claiming our music, claiming our fiddle, and they're saying that they're us and they're not us. So Alberta, of course, supports Métis Nation of Ontario, and now they're dealing with an issue regarding Bill 53. Their attempt for a treaty is in jeopardy right now. So, again, it shows you don't do it right, you do it wrong and try to push your way or shove your way through something without proper consultations, you could find yourself in a deep hell of trouble. So, in our self-government agreement, we make it very clear. I do not speak on behalf of Red River citizens all over the place. If they want me to speak on behalf of them, they'll apply for a citizenship card. Then I'll speak on their behalf. So from that perspective, from Manitoba's side, We're very united. We have still thousands upon thousands and thousands coming from the West, getting their citizenship card with our government, and I speak on their behalf, and I'll defend their rights where they are, and they'll always have their rights protected in the homeland by our government, and we'll always protect our identity. So we have an identity conference coming up in May 14th and 15th. There are First Nations that are coming from Ontario and different parts of Canada. First Nations are coming. We're talking about how do we start protecting our identity from those that are stealing it and using it to advantage themselves financially, those that are using it for other legal purposes, maybe for harvesting, those that are trying to steal our identity, our nation, for example, taking our culture, taking our heroes, taking our flags, and flying them and claiming it theirs. So they're stealing the entire nation, not just one identity. We're talking hundreds of thousands of identities in the future. So that conference is happening on the 14th and 15th. That's happening here in Winnipeg, hosted by the MMF and the First Nations of Ontario. So, and others that are to be joining us. Some invitations are going out to the Grand Chiefs to come and speak and give greetings. And of course, we'll be on Treaty 1 in the Red River Métis homeland. And at that time, we're going to talk, because the First Nations have the same view I have here. People are stealing our identity, and we've got to stand up together to fight and protect that. And we will work hard supporting each other. And again, I want to thank the Interlake Tribal Council for their letter on the Red River the diversion on Lake St. Martin. I'll be working in partnership in supporting the Interlake Tribal Council and all the chiefs in that region. I'll be working with them to support them and making sure that if we do a diversion, it's going to be done right, and where we have a say as Métis and First Nations, that they're not going to destroy our fishing industry 20 years or 50 years from now, because it will come back to haunt us if we don't do it right, or the flooding and the effects of our lands will keep on being destroyed because the government did a poor job and didn't do it in partnership with us. So anyways, I'll stop there and say again, thank you to all our listeners, and thank you for supporting Métis Hour, and say good luck, John, today. I went fishing yesterday, by the way. I caught some nice big pickerel. I let a lot of them go because they're too big. And here in Duck Bay, I was there yesterday, and I have some pickerel fillets happening this evening. So in case you're jealous, it's going to taste very, very good. Lori's not here to cook it, so I have Derek's wife here, Candy, so she'll cook it. And, of course, my sister would usually cook it, but she's fighting cancer right now, and she doesn't have the energy to be cooking anymore right now. So with that being said, I want to send prayers out to Gloria. She's on the way to Winnipeg right now. Gloria Chinai. She's got some serious health issues, and she's going there for an operation, and I want to send prayers her way. And for those that know her, she's praised in so many funerals, helping so many people. Now it's our turn to help her. So, again, Take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you. Thank you for finding me, Cowboy, and I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
Okay, take care, David.
Okay,
all right.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.